Okay, hey guys, it's FPS Creations. Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be discussing why bursts do not need a nerf or buff. Okay, so my reasoning for this is why I'm making this video is a lot of people are making, like, competitive-wise, are saying that guns like the M16A4 and M4, most of the other bursts like A94, every other burst gun mostly is fine, it's just like these two specifically. Apparently, a lot of people are saying they need a nerf, and I highly disagree with that, so hear me out, and I'm not sending hate to anyone, but I honestly don't think that they need a nerf, because at the very start, they were both, like, OP as crap. I'm pretty sure that the M4 did, like, a lot more damage than 35 to 19 or something like that. The M4 might need a nerf, maybe, but maybe, we'll get to that later, but we're going to start out with the M16A4 and why it does not need a nerf. So the burst, or the fire rate on it is 900, which is really high, but you can't, like, 90% of the community do not use burst guns because they're just super hard to use, and, like, for competitive wise, this is why, like, Oscar, for example, he's the one that's, like, kind of not dead set, but he agrees, he thinks that bursts need a nerf because they're too OP and stuff like that. It's just because he's good with it. The guns are only OP if you're good with it, and most competitive players are good with bursts just like that because they know, like, everything in the game and all that stuff, but it just is kind of stupid. If you're good with a gun and it's OP for you, that doesn't mean it needs a nerf, okay? It's just a good gun. It's like saying if you went off with the Zip 22, this is like a really over-exaggerated example, but if you went off with the Zip 22, like some guy that would just constantly get kills with it and, like, get 10 to 6 to 10 KDRs every game, and then he said Zip 22's OP, they need to nerf it. Like, it just wouldn't make any sense, and that's what's bothering me here. Just because you're good with a gun does not mean it needs a nerf. Yeah, it's really good, but only if you know how to use it. Like, most people just spam click, and, like, it takes forever for them to get it down. For me and most of the other comp players and, like, CPFO, PFF, PFMS, you know, all that, they pretty much have the burst down. Some people have it better than others, but all that stuff, but it doesn't make sense. I know that their damage and fire rate is really high, but it all balances out because it's burst, and you have to aim at the person. I've already, like, done a video on, like, how good the burst can be if you use it correctly, but like I said, so much of the community do not use burst because they're super hard to use. Okay, moving on to the M4A1. This maybe needs a slight nerf, just the slightest, because this thing is, like, a lot easier to burst than the M16A4, that I know for sure. Just because it's not necessarily a spam click, like, you can almost spam click it, but it's, like, up there, okay? It's 950 fire rate, which doesn't seem like much more than the M16A4, but it's a lot easier to burst, in my opinion, okay? And it does 35 damage up close. That's insane. Like, that kills so fast, but it balances out because it does 19 at range. And the drop-off is, like, at 100 studs, I believe, is what the chart says. I might be reading that wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 100 studs, or maybe even lower than that, but it balances out because of that. Like, a lot of your gunfights are going to be over 100 studs, at least in my opinion. That's probably because I'm a super passive player, and a lot of people rush, but still, this gun maybe just, like, nerfs the damage to doing 34 instead of 35, but I honestly think the bursts are fine. Like, they're not OP, they're just good if you know how to use them. Like, if we go to Rage Snowy, you guys, a lot of you around my channel know him because you're subscribed from his channel to me, but, like, if you watch him playing with it, this is, like, his first time using the burst, and he's, sometimes his bursts are good, sometimes his bursts are not good, but, like, it's taking a player like him versus a player like Oscar, where Oscar was just pretty much good with it at the start, I guess. I don't completely know the full story, but he was really good at it with it, like, from the beginning, and it just doesn't make it's I find it really dumb that you're saying nerf the burst just because you're good with the gun. It's not OP. It takes a lot of skill to use. at least for most people. And some people are saying, like, nerf the damage or nerf the fire rate. If you nerf the fire rate, it just wouldn't really be usable. There would be a whole different rhythm to it. Like, it would just completely break the gun and nobody would use it anymore. Then some other people are saying, make it so that you aren't able to stop shooting your 3 bullets. Like, it's an actual burst. Like, you have to, after you click, those 3 bullets will shoot off no matter what. So, like, if you stop aiming at someone, those 3 bullets will still be shooting, and you can't do anything to stop it. I don't know if that really makes sense, but, like, okay, you shoot the gun, and instead of, if I, like, try to shoot 1 bullet, what people are saying is make it so that when you click, it's going to shoot all 3 bullets, and it won't, like, stop. It's just going to shoot them anyways. And that would also be really annoying, and it would just break the gun. Like, all these nerfs are just going to make the guns useless. It's like when they nerfed the M16A3. You guys remember, like, 2017, 2016 M16A3 was like the most OP thing ever. It was basically an M16A4 but automatic. It did like 32 damage to 24 damage, okay? Shredded up close, 800 fire rate, almost no recoil. It was just literally an insane gun, literally insane. And then they nerfed it like to the ground. Like, this thing is no longer good, like as good as all. What in the world did it? It's not nearly as good. It does like 32 to 22, which would seem, an 800 fire rate, which would seem nice, except I'm pretty sure they did a recoil change on it, which a lot of people are saying that no, they didn't, but it honestly feels like it, and I'm probably wrong, but it's just not as good. So if they nerf the burst, they're literally going to be useless in, like, anything. They're just balanced right now, in my opinion. Like, they're just balanced. It just wouldn't make sense to nerf them. I remember when the M16A4 used to do 34 to 24 damage. Now, that was OP. That was literally a 3-shot, like, at any range, almost. It was insane. That's when it needed a nerf, but now it does 22 damage, and it's a lot less easier to... Oh, less easier. It's a lot worse to get kills at like 200 studs out. It's not bad or hard necessarily. Excuse me. It's not bad or hard necessarily. It's just harder than before. Because before you could just like 3 to 4 shot instantly. There was no way that you'd be like 5-shotting anything. But now, like, at most it will like 3 to 6 shot. Okay. I've had times where I'd have to like 7-shot a guy, but that was probably because I hit him in the toe. Long story, yada yada. These things aren't OP. Okay? They just aren't. They're just good if you know how to use them. Like, simple as that. It's ridiculous. Like, imagine, okay, say they nerf these things. Okay, say they nerf them. You probably wouldn't use them ever again. Like, if they're doing the nerfs that the people are describing, like, say they change the damage to do 32 to 22. That's basically, you might as well just use an M16A3 at that point. Like, it just wouldn't make sense. It would not be nearly as good. Or if they did the burst thing, to where all 3 bullets would shoot no matter what, that would be annoying as crap, and then definitely I'd probably have to move on to a new gun. That'd be crazy annoying. Like, do you guys feel me? It wouldn't make any sense. They just don't need to be touched. They're fine as is. Just because you're good with a gun does not mean it's underpowered or overpowered, or just because you're bad with a gun. Like, it just depends on the player. So, thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed or have different opinions, leave it down in the comments below. Yeah, that's my theory, I guess, or whatever, or verdict. Yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.